G'day trendsetters, Jom, that's J-O-M with Gravel Cyclist. I'm coming to you today with another bike review. This time around it's the wild and crazy evil Chamois Hagar. If you're a regular to the gravelcyclist.com website or Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel, you'll already have seen my unboxing and features video of this particular bike. For those who've missed it, I'll cover the standout features right now. Stating the obvious, this bike is unlike any other bike you'll see on the market today. So with that said, I needed to grab some intel direct from Evil themselves that explains how a rider's position is on this bike versus that of a regular gravel bike. The saddle position in relation to the bottom bracket gives the rider the same relative pedal position as a typical gravel bike. I can confirm this to be true. The bike felt like a regular gravel bike, except when riding very slowly. More on that later. The handlebar location gives the rider the same range of bar height and reach as a typical gravel bike, not counting the shorter stem. The bar height can be set level with the saddle or all the way to a road style position, which is roughly how I have it, or typically in the case of many riders, about a 7 centimeter drop. The rider's position relative to the front and rear axles has been shifted back and down, which lowers the center of gravity whilst cornering, but still maintains a typical pedal position. The lower top tube and seat tube allows use of a much longer than usual dropper seat post. Obvious benefits: you can get way low on descents. On cornering with the post dropped, you can get next level center of gravity. No other bike comes even close to the speed you can attain while cornering. I'm a believer of descending only on the drops, so I totally understand this benefit. In fact, Jason of Evil Bikes set the second fastest time on the descending segment at the 2019 Grinduro California aboard the Chamois Hagar. That should give you an idea of what is possible. Other benefits include the longer wheelbase aided by the mega slack headtube angle, which basically this is a mountain bike front end with a custom axle to crown offset that ensures the bike steers how the rider wants. Important note, Evil were not trying to make a road bike or a cross bike or a mountain bike. This is their vision of the ultimate gravel and adventure bike. Other features of the bike include the sweet SRAM Eagle E-tap rear derailleur matched to Force E-tap shifters, sometimes known as a Feagle build or a mullet build, business up front and party on the back. There's a 38 tooth chainring on the front matched to a mega 10 to 50 tooth cassette. This thing is absolutely insane, but so beautifully engineered, you could place it onto the coffee table and have a nice little chat about it. If you haven't ridden electronic shifting, you really should do yourself a favor and try it, then make the switch. I promise you, you will not regret it. The mega highlight for me is the RockShox Reverb Access seat post. This little bugger is controlled wirelessly from the shifters for raising and lowering. That is so convenient, especially when you can focus on the task of not dying on a very tricky descent. Tyre clearance on the Evil Chamois Hagar is excellent, and the stock wheels and tyres are good performers. As is the norm in this day and age, brake calipers are flat mounted and all of the brake housings are routed internally. For mechanical or wired electronic drivetrain systems, your cables are also routed inside the frame. So that's the features of the Evil Chamois Hagar covered. How does it ride? The first thing you'll notice is how weird, floppy and sloppy this bike feels at low speed. That's because of the super slack 66-degree head tube angle, which is deep into mountain bike territory. However, once your speed goes over a few miles or kilometers an hour versus this parking lot demonstration, its positive designs come through, which in my opinion owe a lot to mountain bikes. Coming from a former road cycling background where I favour a gravel bike that often resembles a speedy road bike, the overall size and look of this bike I still cannot get my head around. In other words, the Evil Chamois Hagar isn't a bike I find myself looking forward to ride. The bike is pretty light, and considering this is a size large, that's a respectable weight. The big 700C by 50mm tyres just steamroll everything and help with the rider's confidence. You don't have to be as careful picking your line on this bike, it is very forgiving. The Evil Chamois Hagar will not be for every road, ride, race, or every gravel cyclist. It definitely favours courses that find themselves on the gnarlier side, for example, Enduro, or some of the crazy stuff I've ridden in West Virginia or North Carolina. I didn't ride it on a single track because that's what every other reviewer has done. I really wanted to see how this bike performed on mostly regular terrain, but having a mountain bike influence, I'm sure it does well on single track. Sizing this bike still doesn't feel right to me. It is all based around the seat tube length and the dropper seat post, whereas I base all of my measurements around the top tube and head tube. This bike feels big and cumbersome to me. It climbs pretty well seated, but out of the saddle, it just feels floppy and unresponsive. If you're riding a cruise tempo, that's fine, but if you like to attack a climb and change pace, this bike feels slow, at least in this size. Going back to the bike's physical size, it barely fits into the back of my Honda Element, which is saying something. So the size XL bike, I don't see that fitting inside at all unless I were to remove the front wheel. I don't want this review coming off as a total negative fest. There are people who will love this bike. I knocked out a few 4-hour training rides aboard it, and due to the long wheelbase, chainstays and comfy tyres, I felt pretty good about life. A more aggressive gravel bike would have me feeling pretty fatigued. This bike would also do better in some geographic regions than others. In North Central Florida, where I live most of the year, this bike is overkill. But I sought out some fun places to ride in Georgia, where it was a ton of fun to ride. Overall, the Evil Chamois Hagar isn't a bike that inspires or excites me, but it will definitely interest some riders. Evil put a ton of R&D into this bike, so it wasn't like they created a crazy looking bike and hoped for a bunch of media attention or online cycling haters who've got nothing better to do than type a bunch of rubbish. This is the current top tier offering from Evil, and it is fitted out with SRAM Force Eagle Access and the Sweet Access dropper seat post. Priced at US $5,899, I think it's pretty well priced considering what you get. For more details about other builds and a frame-only option, visit evil-bikes.com. So there you have it, the Evil Chamois Hagar, arguably the wildest and craziest gravel bike on the market today. I realise there's a plethora of gravel bikes available at the time of this video, so I hope my review went some way in helping you make an informed purchase decision. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos as they appear on the channel. I'll see you in the next video.